Good evening, YouTube. My name is Billy and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I'm making one of my favorite dishes, and this is kind of a comfort food for us, and we're going to be making sour cream chicken enchiladas, and that is so easy, but it is so good. We're going to start over at the stove. You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And you're going to take a medium-sized skillet, and you're just going to put just enough oil in there to where you can heat up your tortillas. You don't need a lot. And for most electric stoves, you're going to do that on medium heat, but you really don't want your oil too hot. You want it just right. So just go ahead and turn that on and get it started. Now for the chicken, I've just taken one chicken breast and cooked it in a non-stick skillet, and then I just cut it up. And what we're going to do with that is we're just going to take that and we're going to put that in our food processor. I actually have a small one. This works great for small jobs. We're going to be making 6 of the sour cream chicken enchiladas, so you don't need a lot of chicken because you don't want to overfill your tortillas, otherwise they could crack and break. So you'll probably need about a cup or a cup and a half, depending on how many you're gonna make. And I'm just gonna use my hand, and you're just gonna and we're just going to give that a little... These small food processors come in handy, but they really don't like to be overfilled, so that's why I'm doing smaller little batches. Okay. And I'm going to start with that. If I need more, I can do more. It only takes a second. Okay. And then... Okay, to give the chicken a little bit of flavor, I'm just going to add a little bit of ground cumin. And if you've never used cumin before, it has a pretty strong flavor. So if you're not used to it, just start with a small amount, until you're used to working with it. And I'm just going to sprinkle in just a little bit. And then I'm just going to toss that up with a spoon. You don't need a lot. It's a really strong flavor, but it's really good. It's got almost like a smoky flavor. All right, and that's all you want. Okay, now we're going to grab our tortillas. And you're going to have a little... a plate with some paper towels on it, and you're going to want a good spatula. And all you're going to do is you're going to take your tortillas and you're going to just drop them in the oil, and you're just going to kind of toss it around for just a second, just until it kind of lubricates it enough to where it'll be pliable enough to work with. If you leave it in too long, it's going to get crunchy, and you're just going to have a tortilla chip. So you just want to leave it in the oil just long enough to get it coated and take it right out. if you don't do this, when you try to fill your tortillas, they're gonna crack. They're too dry as they are, you know, and they just won't turn out right. It only takes a second. Okay, now while these little guys are cooling off, I'm going to show you how I make my sauce. It's really simple and it's really good. All you need is 1 can of cream of chicken and mushroom soup, and you're just going to dump that in a medium-sized saucepan. Okay, and you're going to put 1 can of water. And you're gonna want a 1/4 cup of butter. So if you're using a stick, it's 4 tablespoons. Just put that in. And then you're gonna take a cup of sour cream and you're gonna dump that in. Okay, now you're gonna take this and you're just gonna put this on the stove. About medium heat. And you just wanna heat this until it's completely smooth and it's a smooth sauce. So it'll take a little bit, but you wanna watch it because you do not want it to boil. You just want it hot enough to where everything is incorporated and it's a smooth, creamy sauce that you can just pour right over your enchiladas. So we're gonna let that sit for a minute, and then we're gonna go ahead and prepare our enchiladas. Okay, you're gonna need a pretty good size dish, but you don't want it too large because as you roll them up, you kind of want them nestled next to one another to keep them from unrolling. So you're gonna get your tortillas. Now remember, these are really hot. I've done this a lot, so my hands are pretty used to the heat, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, and then you're just gonna put a little bit of chicken in each one. Okay, and then you're gonna get some shredded cheese, and you can use whatever you like. Okay, and then you're just gonna roll that up. You don't wanna overfill these, otherwise they're gonna crack or they'll unroll. And then you just have a mess. Okay, and you're gonna send that all the way to the end. Okay, and then you're gonna do the next one. Just a little bit of chicken. And you could also do some spinach in this, and you would just lay the spinach out, then your chicken, and then your cheese, and then just roll that up. That's really good. Kind of start in the middle and then just kind of work your way out. That way it's rolled evenly and it will tend to stay stay together better. If you get too much in there, as you're rolling them, they'll start to crack across the top, or they'll just start unrolling themselves. But okay, and you kind of want them bunched up together. They'll kind of hold together better. All right, we're gonna go back over here and check our sauce, and you're just gonna stir it up until it's done. All right, you can pause. Okay, now that our sauce is done, get closer. And you can see it's just like a really thick, creamy sauce. It's about the consistency of gravy. That's all you want. That's perfect. That's all you want. Okay, now you're gonna take this sauce and you're gonna very carefully, you kind of want to go around the edges first. And then you're just gonna go right over the top. And this is actually a lot of sauce, so if you were making like 8 or 10 or maybe even 12, this same recipe for the sauce would be more than enough. Okay, that's good. All right, and then you want to take some more cheese and just sprinkle that over the top. And as that melts, it'll kind of help hold them together. And that's good. Now, if you have paprika, or you could sprinkle some of that over the top. But we're gonna leave that just the way it is. Okay, now we're gonna go over here to the oven. Okay, 350 degrees, center rack. And that's just gonna go in there for 30 minutes, and then that's gonna be perfect. It'll be ready to eat. Great. That's it. Okay, after 30 minutes, you're gonna take those out of the oven and just set that on a pot holder. And be careful because it's really hot and it's bubbling, so that could splatter. That's it.